Hey folks, now back here to part three of mapping my finds on Google Earth. We're starting off right up at the Essex Street Bridge. I just want to get into this for a few minutes. Um, the two lines that you see, the red lines that are going across, the furthest one away from the bridge was the original dam that was built back in the early 1800s. Um, that one was made of wood, and up on the upper right-hand side of where that met the embankment, you can still see parts of the old dam that was there. Now, the red line that sets in between, they had built a block dam, and that had gotten washed out at some point, and then eventually you have the dam that you're seeing down here now. And that one is in really bad repair. It needs to be taken out. But on the other note, the Essex Street Bridge, though, that is going to be taken out, and they're going to start the project this spring, and it's going to take about a year and a half, 2 years to finish the whole project. And what I've heard is that they're going to be putting in a cofferdam, and I'm assuming it's going to be back somewhere along where those lines are, where the old dams were, because that's about the flattest spot you can put something in across there. And if they do, hopefully we'll be able to get down into around maybe the dam area and stuff where things have been piled up for centuries. We'll just see how that goes in the spring. But, all right. I have enjoyed showing you the other places that I've already, in the first two episodes. But this here is really my, like, little home spot I love to go to. It's a mile from my house, and I can just pretty much get in most of the time. It's fairly shallow in a lot of spots. All right, well, we're going to start off right up through here. And like in the other episodes there, I'm just going to kind of move down through slow so you can see things. And yeah, we'll just go down through the river. All right. Yeah, a few years ago, I found my first Spanish real, 1781. It was about 6 inches, 5 to 6 inches down in the dirt in between the ledges. I know there's got to be more in there. I know I didn't find the only one. But this little cove here has been kind of sweet to me. I found a lot of nice things in here. The hobnail glass shoe that you're seeing, that there was underneath some rocks, and there weren't a chip in it. It was made out of glass. Very cool find there. Found some old coins, 1807 Drake bust, and I did find a 1700s old Chinese coin down in through here as well. Right down in here. Let's see, this little island that's out here. Richie and I have found many little things in here. Found a few beautiful brooch with like an orange bloodstone in it. That was pretty cool. A lot of jewelry down in through here too. This big circle that you see out here, that is a massive deep hole. It's probably 40, 45 feet maybe. Things are down in there, I can guarantee it. And I'll tell you a reason why I know that is we'll head down the river and I'll tell you some stories. Right, yeah, and this was about as deep as I got out. There's a 1914 Gillette hot water bottle, but it's made out of metal. That was about as deep as I could get out there, and at that point I had to actually put my face in the water to get down to it. I don't know if we'll ever get into that, if it would ever dry up, because right along here are ledges. And even on dry years, you'll see all the ledges here, but this water will still be backed up. So, yeah, I've never thrown a magnet out there. I might do it with a kayak this year. We'll see. Now, we're going to keep on going down here in this cove. Bunch of different little items all over the place. One thing of note is I found a George Washington token. That was a pretty cool find. It was stuck right in those ledges. And the only reason why you're seeing pins here is because it's shallow enough to walk over from side to side, when the river's, being friendly. Alright, and we'll kind of move down through here. Yeah, I've hunted this area now for 8 years, so you're going to see a lot down through this section. Move down here a little bit. Right here was my first silver thimble. And I got that the second year I started hunting down in this area. And the story goes, I was working upstream, and I was looking ahead of myself, and I heard my detector go off. I kind of just swing in front of me. And I looked down, and I saw that silver thimble rolling by me in the river. And at that moment, I knew that I'll never hunt this river out. That thimble probably came out of that deep hole. And there's a few other finds down there that I'll show you that definitely came out of that deep hole. Kind of put it like that so you can get a good view. And yeah, over on the right upper hand side, there's a kind of like a deep hole there too, so you're not going to see much in those areas. Same down at the left, bottom side here. You'll see that, there's not a lot out in the middle. Not that there isn't anything there, it's just too deep to get into. Okay, and we're just going to kind of keep moving down through the river here. I did find a nice 1783 Louis the 16th, 1 liard right out here. And 1892 coin. I haven't found a lot of coins in this section of the river. But they are there. It's, like I said, it's about 250 feet across. So it's very easy to miss a coin that might have floated down, from up above. You miss it by an inch, you miss it by, feet. Yeah, it can be hard. Right up here, you're going to see this kind of flashing. That's an 1839 Russian flak seal. The lead seal was about the size of a $50. That's the oldest one I had found. Very nice. And as you're looking down through here, you're going to see a lot of silver. I found quite a few silver spoons down through here. Let's see. Silver-plated shoe buckle. Bunch of silver spoons, silver watches, or watch covers. And a couple of silver thimbles down through here. There's another one that's going to be coming up. And yeah, just kind of glancing over some of these things. And every year I come down and hunt the same area, and I find new things every year. Now, this coin silver watch case, that right there was an eyeball find. We had a shallow summer. In the December before that, we had 19-foot floods. I believe that whole watch case was in that deep hole and got pushed up out of that when those waters churned that. And that laid that right down about here. And yeah, I was coming down and I noticed something shiny out there. Went over, ran my detector over it. I could tell it was a watch case, but it rung up very high. Yeah, it was made out of coin silver. It's pretty cool. Keep moving on down. Right up here at the very top, you kind of see it flashing. That was the very first bell that I ever found. Being that close to the river, the waters, when we've had floods, the water has pushed way up here into the woods. So more than likely that came out of the river at some point. But yeah, after I found that bell, that kind of drew me into the whole river. And, as you can see, quite a few things have been found. And over here, this was a really cool find. It was a brass cannon, about 5.5 inches long, and there was something stuck in it. Now, whether or not that might have been a river rock or somebody had tried to shoot it and it got stuck. But yeah, they used to sell those for kids to play with. And this river, particularly in the summertime, is generally below your waist. So that's why you're seeing a lot right out here in the open. And in some of these other places, you may not see a lot because the water's either moving too fast or there's too many boulders. And good way to break your legs down in through here. You can kind of see that big rock right in the middle of the river. That's a big old glacial boulder. That's probably 15 feet tall. And, then all these other boulders up and through here. But I gotta imagine there's some gold stuck up underneath maybe some of these. I do have to get myself a pan at some point. I'd like to go down. There's a few places I'd like to check. Okay, now this section of the river that we're getting to, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. You're really not going to see a lot in here. The upper part of the river, that's still the inside bend up there. And the bottom side is the outside bend. A lot of things do not get caught up in this area. The water just moves way too fast. If you're not used to getting in the water, you definitely don't want to be in there. I wouldn't even take really anybody that's never been down in those areas. It can be treacherous. And once you get down through the rapids, though, a lot of what you're seeing down in here is where it kind of shallows out and starts to slow down a little bit. You're going to see a lot of pewter down through, well, pretty much throughout the whole river. There's a lot of pewter. But for it to get into town and all the way down here, it's taken many, many years. And a lot of this stuff I found pretty much right on top of the riverbed. And we're just going to continue going down. I'll just kind of slow down so you guys can kind of gander at everything. Yeah, this J.W. Tufts, it was a pewter toothpick holder, and it looks like a hollow log. When I looked it up, there was actually a monkey that holds that log on a base. Somewhere in this river, that monkey is in there. I'll come across him someday, maybe. And then as we get further away from town, you're gonna, notice, like in the other other videos there, where as you get away from town, things start to peter out a little bit. And in this part of the river here, this was pretty much the first copper I ever found. I wouldn't have known it was a Russian 2 kopeck unless I had cleaned it. I was still in the beginning of metal detecting, and a lot of people said, oh, don't clean it, it's a copper, you don't want to destroy the coin or anything. And I was assuming that it was an American copper until I cleaned it off and saw, a double-headed eagle. And, that led to, that ID for that. From the 1800s right up to about the mid-1900s, this river used to be logged. And we have had many different nationalities of people that came up here at the time to do it. Maine was the lead in timber industry for a good portion of the world at that time. And this area here is all kind of slow. I do hunt it occasionally, and I do come across some things occasionally down through here. But as you can see, there's not really a whole lot found. Right up here was an old dump. I was told somebody had found a U.S. buckle right down in this area. Well, I know the guy. He did. We're just going to kind of keep moving up through here. A lot of pewter. Poor man's silver. And then the river kind of bends here and there. And we're going to kind of stop here, and I'm going to zoom out so I can skip up to the next big portion of the river. Might take a second here. Now, right in about this big island here, right at the point, I have found some items in there. I don't know if I missed it on the video or not, but there were a few things found in here, not much. Yeah, and this whole island is Indian protected, as well as the whole river down through here. You can't keep any Indian artifacts. And this is a private island. A gentleman does own this whole thing. Okay, I'm going to zoom out even a little bit further so we can scoot right down here to East Dovah, where we're going to end everything. Richie and I and Kelly, we put a few hours in down through this area. It's very, very hard working. And you don't usually come out of the day with a whole lot. We're just going to kind of scoot down through here, and you guys can take a peek. Yeah, a lot of pewter. There used to be, I'm going to scoot back here to the bridge. There used to be a dam on the right side of this bridge back in the 1800s, and that was taken out. Whether or not everything kind of flowed down through after and landed down here, or people had just thrown things in here. It was legal to throw garbage into this river right up to the 1890s. And unfortunately, people had still been throwing stuff into this river to this day. Sad, but I mean, it was legal for almost 100 years. So there's a lot of things in here. Yeah, a lot of pewter down through here. This is an older part of town too. So I mean, we do find a lot of pewter. And this is pretty much about as far south as I have gone so far. Let me zoom this out, see if there's anything left down here. Nope. So that's about where we've ended. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed the journey down through here, and we'll catch you on the next adventure.